Okay. Get the gavel out. Clap, 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 clap. Hello and welcome to the June 2020 Omaha Astronomical Society General Meeting. Let's take take a moment to talk about our meeting. If you have headphones, please use them for the meeting. Please remember to mute your microphone when you are not speaking. If you have it configured, the spacebar can act as a push-to-talk button in Zoom. So if you don't want to be seen, you can mute your video. For those who don't have a camera, that's already muted. You can change your view to side-by-side during the meeting so that you can see the screen and the person who is talking. You can raise your hand by using the icon at the bottom of the participants list. So there is a way to click on that during the meeting to do that. If you wish to file a motion, please unmute and state your name. This helps Diana do our minutes so that we can get the actual names for people who are doing those motions. And to vote, we'll use the raise hand button. Do we have any guests this evening? You can unmute yourself and say yes, or you can use the chat box if you wish. Put your names in the chat so we can get a count of the number of guests beyond our normal membership.
Hi, this is Bob Kavinsky. I'm the president of the Prairie Astronomy Club. Thanks for the invitation, John.
You're welcome.
John, this is Nina. You might also ask for new members.
Oh, yes. Do we have any new members as well as anyone who are our guests?
This is Aaron Keck. I am a new member from Council Bluffs.
Hi, Aaron. Thanks for posting the video. We were just looking at that a few minutes ago.
Oh, sure.
On the Discord. How did you find us?
I'm originally from Council Bluffs, and I've been living in the Bay Area in California now for work. But for coronavirus, we're back in town, and I've got a telescope now and was looking for a place to use it and came across the website.
Cool. Great. We also have Christine and James from PAC visiting with us this evening as well.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
Sure.
Jason France. I'm about a 2-month-old member, but this is the first meeting I've made it to.
Yes, and Jason had been out to Astro Park. I think he also righted the outhouse on one of its many times it decided to lie down on the job.
I figured while I was out there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I've been out a couple times now, so it's nice to have that facility.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. For those who are not members and are new members, you will become a member of the Astronomical League and you'll receive the Reflector, which is their quarterly magazine. You have access to Astro Park. Obviously, Jason knows about that, our observing site in Weeping Water, Nebraska. We do have a extensive telescope loan program where you can try to telescope, observe, or experience different types of scopes. And of course, our monthly newsletter, the Stella, which is chock full of information and is a great resource. We also have a Discord server that we're using for members to do a little bit more collaborative or discussion on the things that we are doing from time to time. So let's see how many people used Astro Park in the last month. So we got Jason.
Oh, here. You want me to put up a poll for that?
Sure. Aaron raised his hand.
Well, that works too.
Aaron, did you go to Astro Park? Wow.
I did twice, actually. Once during the day to check it out, just to be sure I knew where it was.
Always wise.
Yeah, John, this is Bill. I was down there 3 times this month.
Nice. Kelly and I were there last Friday, so that's a pretty good month.
Good.
Bill,
know-
when you were down there, was it ever clear?
Yeah, I've knocked off quite a few Herschels this month.
Very good. While we're on the subject of Astro Park, during our board meeting, we had a discussion about possible maintenance or improvements to the facility, and we came up with a survey for people to fill out about Astro Park. If you look in the chat, I just sent a link, which is to the form. You can open that in a new tab and then answer that as you see fit. You don't have to do it right now, but it is available for you to go through. If you want to see what it looks like, here's what it is. You know, it talks about how often are you going, would you likely to attend a scheduled event or willing to volunteer, or maybe a buddy system so you're not there by yourself. And we also have a section on what possible improvements and putting a scale on that. So if you do get a chance to do that, we would appreciate that. We'll probably see about putting it in the July Stella so that it goes out to even more individuals than just in this meeting. This was sort of a last minute thing that we put together today for the meeting tonight. So and we can keep gathering that information over time. It's not like it's due tomorrow. So the URL isn't always the easiest thing because it's funky Google code, but I made it a lot shorter than it's supposed to be. Normally it's like really, really long. So I think that should help out on a number of things for us regarding Astro Park. Important upcoming dates. Nebraska Star Party is July 19th to 24th at Merritt Reservoir. Still standing at a go, no-go decision made by June 15th. Do any of our NSP folks want to speak up on that?
You guys, Eric Balcom here. I don't have my regular microphone from upstairs. I'm down in the dining room here. To make a long story short, we're going to be having a planning meeting this next Thursday night with the NSP Planning Committee, and we have a lot of things to decide. So for the time being, we're still planning the event, and it'll be real interesting because as you have up there, John, on your screen, we have decided earlier on that date whether we're going to go or no go on June 15th. And we might have discussions in this meeting to maybe even push it back too. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Eric, have you heard from the school yet?
No, they were going to make a decision though, Chad, and they have not gotten back with me.
Okay.
So, but they have a meeting about how they want to use the school building this summer.
Thanks, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And just another footnote about Miserable 2020 has been canceled for 2020 and moved to next year. So in case people didn't see that last month, it has been canceled. Awards chair. Is Rodney in our list tonight? Don't seem so. Okay. Have a bit of a audio feedback there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So I'm still I'm working on my presentation. I've had some problems and some things, but awards chair. The only thing I'm aware of was I know a couple people are aware of it, but Janine
Shane.
Janine Shane was working on, globular cluster, I think. She has gotten hold of me. The paperwork is probably at home, but she said she didn't really fit some of the categories. So I'm gonna mail it in anyway, and we'll have to, we'll see if she gets it. She said if she doesn't get the pin, you know, it doesn't really matter. Said she's happy with just what she, you know, being able to do it. And so it's not a big deal. And she said, don't worry about the frame, you know, and potentially mail it directly to her. So I'm gonna have to talk to Steve about all that, who to mail it to, and you have to get all that information. So.
Cool.
But that's the only one that I'm aware of so far. Nobody else is contacted me.
Great. Thanks, Rodney.
Yep, thank you. You're welcome.
Observing chair. Sonali.
There we go. Sorry, June 2020. Well, hopefully skies up better this month. Just a quick snapshot of the planets. Venus in Inferior conjunction on June 3rd, which was this week. And I have my little favorite diagram up there. And after that, you're going to see it mostly actually in the morning sky. Saturn and Jupiter rise before midnight, and later in the month, Capricorn is for Saturn, and Jupiter is around Capricorn and Sagittarius border. Mars again rises in the southeast, mostly after midnight, and on June 13th, it would be close to Neptune and Moon. So that's one way to find Neptune if you haven't been able to do that before. Mercury is still visible in the west. It sets approximately 2 hours after sunset, and it's close to Gemini, and I have included a little diagram from Sky and Telescope for you to look at to see where it's at. It's actually marked out on that, if you can point it out, John.
Say it again. Sorry.
Oh, Mercury. I think it's labeled on that little picture.
Oh. Wow. Yes, it's very right down in here. Right near, yes. Very small.
Yes, and very hard to find still. After that, a few facts about the sun. We have the summer solstice coming up on June 20th, and this is just a little chart from time and date that gives you various times on the meridian and where the sun is at. And if I can read this, maybe not, I think this 15 hours, 9 minutes and 21 seconds is how long the day is on June 20th, and that's the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere for summer. As you can see for sunrise, at the beginning of the month at 5:52 a.m., and by the end of the month, just a couple of minutes later. Sunset by June 30th is at 9 p.m. and about 10 minutes earlier at the beginning of the month. For the moon, June 5th, to 12 p.m. This is Omaha time, and new moon coming up just after the summer solstice on June 21st, early in the morning. And that's all I have for this meeting.
Thank you, Sonali. Outreach co-chairs, John and Steve show.
There we are. Another easy month. Our regular events, obviously, the public star party at Lake Serensky, we've canceled. The only other really event that had been in the schedule or planning stages was a couple events out at Camp Calvin Crest, which is southwest of Fremont. It was had been contacted way back in, I don't know, late February, March, from the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They were going to have some camp out there for their kids, and they obviously officially canceled. They've been trying to develop some kind of virtual version of this camp, and I've been in contact both email and over the phone. This lady that's been trying to plan that, it's, you know, like I said, still very nebulous. I talked to her again today. You know, we talked the board meeting last night. We talked about it some, and some very good ideas were tossed out for potential ways to do something like this. I talked to her again today, and I think for at least this first one, which was scheduled or is scheduled for Wednesday the 10th, they just want to try it, do it themselves, but they're more than we're more than welcome to send any kind of links to any kind of YouTube or NASA sites or anything. So I said I would, you know, search the internet for something appropriate. And if any of you else, any of the other members, if you have a particular site for, these are basically middle school and early high school age kids. And obviously they have some physical handicaps, but I think intellectually they could handle most anything any other children that age can handle. So if you have anything that you would want to send on to me, I'll collect them and send them on over to the lady to see if, at least for the first try here. And then I think the next one, they actually wouldn't be scheduled until like the 24th.
Mm.
So we skip the in-between week. But so anyway, that's about it. Oh, I see. I can't remember how I listed it on our calendar. I think we put tentatively canceled to the Mahoney Star Party, which is, there again, technically an NSP committee sponsoring thing, and we do get support from the Prairie Astronomy Club at times on that. I think we're still way up in the air as far as what they're going to allow as organized events at the Nebraska State Park. So I think that's our big holdup there. If all of a sudden they say, hey, no problem, you can have 100 people or whatever, then we might rethink that and get the word out. But as of right now, it's probably canceled, unless anybody has other comments. That's it. That's all we've had for outreach. I don't know, Steve, you anything else for the good of the order?
No, not really. It's just a hard time. That's all you can say.
Michael Finn had raised his hand. Did you have a question, Michael?
No, I was messing around with my phone.
Okay.
I thumbed it. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm glad I noticed it.
Well, and John Larson, yeah, we talked about, you know, what do you want to call it? In-house outreach or in-reach with small groups of members of the society getting together. I don't know if we want to delve into that here or if you want to do it at some other point.
We can dive into it here real quick, or you know, I think that you can do it in a way. What did they? The city of Omaha has changed the group numbers to 25 who can gather. I'm still wary of large gatherings myself.
Yeah.
But I think we could certainly, as Steve had written in an email earlier last month about getting together, doing socially distanced with our scopes, and just being in proximity as a, you know, it's company is over. We're looking it through the scopes. And if there's maybe like a sign up sheet, so we're not overloading the number of people, or how we approach that, it could be further discussion.
Well, there again, I don't think we want to throw it out to our public
No,
advertising
no.
places like Facebook and our website. But somehow, yeah, I'm open to any ideas. Of course, like I said, we've had such lousy luck with weather through the spring already. But maybe, as Sonali said, maybe it'll change here this month. There'll be some opportunities to gather as small groups, either in the various city parks around here, or obviously Astro Park. May not work for some during the week, but weekend rolls around, willing to drive down there. That's another option too. We just need to be, somehow get the word out to people, I guess, if somebody wants to try that.
Well, do you still have your outreach list that you use to email
Well,
people?
I think Steve, yeah, he's probably, I haven't updated mine for a while because I think Steve put together one here with at least the most current list of active members. Oop, he muted himself.
Yep, sorry. Yeah, I think the list would have some work to do on it yet, which I could do. What I tried to do is to take the comprehensive list that Mike Gallagher has offered to officers and kind of pare that down so I really have simply names, phone numbers, and email addresses. And that made that pretty easy. But I put that all into my address book and added also information about whether they had a telescope, whether they had binoculars, whether they would feel comfortable kind of acting as a guide just to talk about the night sky. So it's possible for me to, if I wanted to say, okay, I need 8 telescopes, I would just look in my address book and select the OAS members who had telescopes. So it's possible, but I do have to update it. There are new people at it all the time. It's just an ongoing thing.
And Discord could probably be useful in planning events, as we're
that's true.
Typing into that, and it's it's not like you missed the email of that person or whatever. I mean, as we get more people into it,
yeah,
it'll be much stronger as a tool, right? But I think with what we have, we could start into it. Just picking a place and the time.
John, does Discord, how am I trying to ask this? Is it possible to have Discord behave a little bit like a database? So if I were looking for members who had telescopes and binoculars, let's say.
It's not per se set up that way.
No, probably not. Okay. I'm just curious.
I don't even know if the membership list shows telescopes or binoculars. I think that might be a survey item that we could create and say, if you are interested in and you have a telescope, to make a brand new, not a new roster of members, but those who would be interested in doing outreach, those would be interested in doing the inReach, those classifications.
Yeah. Well, John Johnson, I'm not sure how you wanted me to help to that. I just I've kind of lost the trail of what your original question was.
Well, just that since outreach, public outreach is basically another month of nothing planned, nothing could be planned.
Yeah.
Let's look at inReach, I guess, for lack of a better word, and we can get together, Steve, later, maybe come up with a couple dates if the weather works, and send out and say, hey, maybe it looks like as far as dark sky observing, it won't. Well, by next weekend, the moon will be trending towards last quarter, so early evenings or of course the following week is the new moon. But maybe we can put together a couple things and send it out and just see what kind of interest we get.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Stafford, telescope and binocular loan program.
Well, we've actually had a little activity this past month. The 4-inch refractor got returned just recently, so it's available for somebody to check out and play with. And the 11 by 80 binoculars and the 8-inch Orion Dob got checked out, and everything else remains checked out. So that's a good thing. Other than that, not much else to report.
Carol has
Yes.
the 4SE checked out, right?
Yes.
And you were having some setup questions. Maybe we could try to help you out in the next few days.
Okay.
So we can go back and forth in email if you want, or do a video. I just wanted to see if any of our other members might be willing to help out as well. I know that Steve does not use the hand controller on his telescope.
Oh, okay.
He uses a tablet. I've gone back and forth both a tablet and the hand controller, so I'm still more comfortable with the hand controller at this time. So we might be able to help you. I'd hate for you to have it and not use it.
Right. My biggest problem is my backyard.
Mm.
Visuals, it's very difficult to see the stars.
Okay. Krista has the 5SE, so she's familiar with it as well. So she's also offered to help. It's in the chat.
Yeah, UNO's actually got 2. That was what I bought for student outreach, looking at, and I could meet with you too, Carol.
Okay. It might be pretty clear this weekend, I'm hoping.
Okay.
Sonali also
Jason
offered.
also says in the chat that he's got a equipment question.
Jason
France.
Just a quick one. Are any of the SCTs apart from the 4SE go-tos, or are they all manual equatorials?
They're all manual right now. There is one of them that has a right ascension drive on it. So it'll track with some measure of success. And then the really old one is a very basic wedge type mount.
Okay, but they're not go-tos. I'm considering. I've got an 8-inch Dob right now, and I'm considering the 8SE. So I thought that would be nice to be able to check out before I actually drop the cash on it.
I am getting the Next Star Evolution SC. I mean, it's coming up next week. Later on, you can stop by my house and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, they're similar enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I think the mount's a little bit longer on it than the SC.
Yeah, but the optics are pretty much the same, and it's using the same go-to system. So,
Same thing.
Cool. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks.
I've got a John Johnson question. You had mentioned that somewhere along the line there is a 6-inch waiting to come into the inventory, possibly.
Oh, there's I think Cleet still got one. Yeah, the one that I have in my garage just collecting dust right now is an Orion 6-inch push 2, if you're familiar with the term. It has
my inquiry.
Yeah, it has the encoders on it and the little battery pack and everything. And the way my understanding the way those work is you get it out, you give it all the right information, latitude, longitude, correct time, and then you push it to a star that you can identify, and then you let the controller know that that's what you're looking at. Do that a couple times, and then you can call up stuff and push the telescope around until it zeroes in on those coordinates. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that has ever tried one.
And the intention, Jason, to you is you're looking for something to go to and track as opposed to just easily find then.
Yeah, I mean, the go-to was the bigger feature. Tracking at this point is a little beyond what I'm looking for at this point, but again, I'm hauling the Dob around is slightly cumbersome, and I know that while the SCTs are a bit heavier, they're still a bit more compact, even with the mount and the stand. So that's kind of what I was looking at from that perspective. I'm not looking to put cameras on it just yet. If I get one, it would really just be for the go-to function from a finding perspective.
Well, I think there's quite a number of us in the club that are fairly knowledgeable and conversant around the various go-to systems. My Celestron version is an equatorial mount, but I have the Nexstar Plus hand controller, and I've got pretty good at using that, as well as AutoStar. And Cleet and I we're both LX200 AutoStar drivers, and I still have a clunky old Meade LX system too. So there's people. Yeah, you let the word, get the word out, and we're more than willing to help you when you get to the point of trying to get things to work.
Yeah, sounds good. Like I said, I'm just looking to making sure it's the right purchase before I, spend $1,200 on something.
If you could stand the bulkiness of putting your 8-inch tube on something, you can probably get yourself a real nice mount that will fulfill the wishes that you have.
Yeah, I looked into that. I kind of backed myself into a corner with that one because it's a flex tube, and I got that for a bit more compact scope, a bit more compact tube. So I lose a lot of availability with that just because of that extension.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That might be another one of those Discord conversations. I feel like I'm a traveling salesman. I don't know if our program chair is online with us tonight. Don't believe so. Rodney, are you monitoring to talk about your presentation? Okay. Well.
Yep. Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I have a presentation. I'm still working on it. It's near completion though.
Okay. Well, I will do a tool time then.
All right, very well. And I'm up next.
Yes.
I'm curious. You probably know, you're the computer guy. I have it on my tablet. How do I get it from my tablet to the computer here? Or or either that, how can I, if I can get this on my tablet, how do I do like the split screen so I can?
So what did you make it in?
Well, it's a PowerPoint, and it's okay. I have a Galaxy Tab A.
Okay. So if you save the PowerPoint into your Google Drive, you could then pull it up on your computer through your Gmail account when you log in.
Okay, did we get my Gmail account on here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, very well.
Okay. All right, so tonight, my tool time is Discord. Gee, it's like I planned it. So,
yay!
Don't worry about these other two Discords. These are other ones that I'm members of. I'm worried about this one, the Omaha Astronomical Society. So think of it kind of like a message board, right? There's a number of channels that we have that are part of it. So there's a whole section on how to use Discord, like reacting to a message, sending direct messages to individuals, finding a pinned message. Maybe there was a message that was pinned somewhere else and you can look for it. Here's a section on changing your nickname, where you can right click and change your nickname, because we want to use real names on our space so that we can match you up with the members. How to upload a file or download an image on the site. You can mute conversations. You see the bell, like if one of these channels gets a bit noisy, you can mute a specific channel if you want, like that. Notifications. Now you can change your notifications specific to the server, right? So when you go in and you change your notifications, you can say you want all messages, only where you're mentioned. That's what this one is, where it says an @ sign or nothing. There can be times where people may post at the times of day that you're asleep. Maybe you don't want to get notifications at that hour. So that would be best to, like, you mute your phone so it's not going to be making noise for you. But you can say, I only want to get when somebody mentions my name. So it's like, if I type in @John J, then it's specifically to John Johnson, and then he'll get notified that I sent him a message specifically on a message board.
Now, John, Aaron said he was just on it, and that those sections aren't currently visible.
Really?
Do you have
Just
those visible?
the how to use Discord section. The rest of it is visible.
Okay, you get to see the
behind the scenes,
how things work here. Send messages.
It happens to me all the time for my
Read
college
messages.
courses.
That's voice. Huh. Oh, maybe that will do it.
You just
Yeah,
need to
that fixed
publish
it.
that how-to section.
Yeah.
That's good now.
Hooray. See, that's what's
Thanks,
great
Aaron.
about having live feedback is I don't get to see what other people see because I'm higher up. So I can't troubleshoot some of those things. So that's great. Thank you. And when they have the whole OAS section, so Astro Events, Astro Park, Astrophotography, there's Aaron's video right there. There's an awards section, dark skies. Here's the joke about the Starlink satellites and trying to take pictures of the sky. There's a new message that just showed up. Hello, meeting peeps. Now, about this. So if I wanted to notify everybody in a specific channel, okay, if I went to observing reports and we have the @ symbol, I can specify individual people, or I can say everyone. So if I say everyone, that'll send a message to every person who is in our Discord and also has their notifications turned on for this channel. So I could say testing message, and then everybody would get kind of like a notifications that message is going out. Then we've got outreach and program. We can see over on the right, there's people logged in right now. There's a section on the telescope loan program, the Stella. And if you look up here, here's a picture of a Stella from June of 2000 that my wife found in a box when we were cleaning out some things. So that goes way back.
Mm.
See, it's all black and white back then. We're in wonderful color. like the late 1960s. We got random. We have a section on weather. No posts yet. This thing you see down here that says special voice, that is the ability to actually do this, what's similar to like a phone call or a video chat. I did some testing about a month ago where I actually went into this channel, connected, and chose the webcam that was stuck in my telescope and was doing live views of the sun through Discord. So people could actually see it if they wanted to.
So John, just FYI, that is currently a locked channel for
Is
the
it?
general membership.
Oops, if I connect, it's going to take my microphone. Hey, good point. All right, well, I'll work. Oh, I know why I did that, because I was testing it. So I better make a note. And up here in the verification FAQ, it talks about, why do we need to be verified? We want to make sure that our members are safe on our site. And we, just as we have the ability to make sure that the people in our Zoom meetings are safe and no people are coming in that might be trying to disrupt us, we do the same thing with Discord. And we also have a code of conduct that we have that talks about being sure that we are nice to individuals, no discrimination, and people are welcome in that. So those are the many, I'm going to hang up here and that'll disconnect my voice. So yes, I know. So maybe, was that Aaron or Jason that was giving me feedback on that?
That was Jason.
Jason. Maybe Jason, you're going to be the guinea pig to help me fine tune some things.
Yeah, I've been using Discord for years, so I'm happy to help out with it.
Thank you. I've only been using it since last fall. So.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
And that's kind of how Discord is. Now, I'm going to do a presentation next month about it and go through a lot more of those features and how you can post. There's a phone app, there's a computer app. You can have one or the other or both. And you can actually sign in with your phone and you can scan like QR codes and things like that to get yourself connected. It's like if you wanted to have it on your tablet or a laptop, you can do that. So we'll kind of go over those things at that.
John, I have a question.
Yes.
So for those members that are not currently on Discord, but want to get on Discord prior to your presentation next month, how do they get into Discord?
Well, if you go to the Stella for June on page 7, there's a whole page on it, and there's a invite right here. So you go to that link and you get an account and sign in. You'll need to post, probably make a mention on general, and then I will get you validated to get into the system. If you have trouble getting on, let me know. Thank you. Tech support. Okay. Rodney, how you doing? Do we need to take a few minute break to stretch our legs?
I'm waiting for it to upload to my email so I can get it on here. Get
Okay.
it on the computer.
So let's take a couple minutes. Let's take a 5-minute break and
Good call.
stretch our legs for a moment.
Good call. Okay, very well.
3, 2. Welcome back to our meeting. Rodney tonight is going to talk about exoplanets for our presentation this month. Take it away, Rodney.
All right, thank you, John, and everybody else. I'd always been interested in this, and boy, I started getting into this, and I just went, "What have I gotten myself into?" I called Lisa Ricci, and it was like, "Hey, do you know much, about this?" And thankfully, she did, and gave me a lot of good points, direction to go, and some different places to look for the stuff. So that really helped me a lot. It'd been a long time since I've done a presentation, so that took a while too, and a while since I went to class, so. But all right, so exoplanets: the search for Earth beyond our solar system. Slide. Okay, what is an exoplanet? An extrasolar planet. A planet is an astronomical body orbiting a star or solar remnant that is massive enough to be rounded by hydrostatic equilibrium, gravity, has cleared its orbital region of planetesimals, and is not massive enough to begin nuclear fusion. That's like Jupiter was like a failed sun. It could have, if it had been much larger, it could have ignited into a sun. An extrasolar planet orbits stars other than our sun Sol. No. How do I? Okay, see, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I slide to get it to go to the next one?
Swipe to the left. Start from the right and go to the left.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right. Well, the first things you need for an Earth-like is habitable zone, an area around a star where liquid water can be maintained in a sufficiently large body. And a little history. The first mention was in Newton's Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica in 1726. It was like in a third edition. He had revised it and mentioned it. The concept was first introduced by Hubertus Strughold in 1953. He called it Nicosphere, and it was a book, The Green and Red Planet, Physiological Study of the Possibility of Life on Mars. It discussed various zones in which life could arise. Also in 1953, Harlow Shapley, most of us have heard that name, mentioned a liquid water belt. The actual term habitable zone is credited to Su-Shu Huang in 1959, who is an American astrophysicist. The term Goldilocks zone, which most of us are familiar with now, came about in the late 1970s. I couldn't find anything about that, and who came up with it. And then finally, James Casting described the circumstellar habitable zone, the CHZ, in 1993. And I know this is a little blurry, but there's an optimistic habitable zone and a conservative habitable zone. As you can see, Earth is there at the top. You can see our sun, the second one down, and Venus is just out of the conservative or optimistic zone. Mars is the conservative zone, and below all that is, excuse me, several.
Rodney,
planets.
when you turn your head, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Several exoplanets that have been listed in habitable zones. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right, great. Yeah, there's a couple of them in this list that are on my presentation, and we're just waiting to see, what other things it would take to, other observatories that could actually tell if there's like atmospheres or something like that around them. Some planetary characteristics. All values are based on Earth's position. The 93 million miles for an astronomical unit. It's surface condition dependent. The radius of orbit, planetary mass, radiative flux of the host star, internal radioactive decay, energy, tidal heating, and atmospheric pressure. Conservative habitable zone is lower mass, like planets like Earth. Extended habitable zone is strong. It has stronger greenhouse effects. And I was trying to look for more on that, and I really couldn't find much. So there could be, life doesn't have to be, people like us. I mean, there could be microbes or cyanobacteria. Also things like alternative biochemistries, wide range of temperatures and pressures in solution. There's a methane rain on Titan, we know. You watch the lakes fill and evaporate off. Oh, I spelled chlorides wrong. Chlorides and sulfates on Mars. Life and ammoniates on Earth. Dihydrogen, dinitrogen, sulfuric acid, and formamide. There's also sulfur respiration, like pools in Yellowstone. There's a show, I don't know how many people have watched One Strange Rock with, I forget his name. But it's about astronauts looking at Earth from orbit. Will Smith is the guy that hosts it. That's right. So there was an episode where the guy was in a full hazmat suit with a breathing tank. It was somewhere in India. I tried to look it all up, and I was looking up dead zone, and it kept talking about something in the ocean. It was not. I couldn't find it about that episode. But he's in a full hazmat suit, and he's walking on like crystalline structures. There's like sulfuric acid boiling out of the ground. It's pretty much straight sulfuric acid boiling out of the ground. Well, doing samples on those, he found life in that stuff, and that's even right here on Earth. And it's in the narrative, Will Smith says it was like the place is completely silent. No animals live here. No insects buzz. No birds sing. It's completely silent because it's pretty much a dead zone. But despite all that, there was form of life in that sulfuric acid. So there's a wide range of other things that where life could form. Some of the extremist planets, mass-bound potential host star is a dwarf or brown dwarf. I couldn't find the name of that one. 0.12 solar masses, potential separation, 0.6.7 AUs, 670-day orbit. Oh, that was OGLE, optical gravitational lensing experiment. OGLE. I forget the number of it. Oh, this is 7,580 parsecs away, 24,000 light years near the galactic bulge. The most distant, sweeps 11, 27,710 light years. Most distant habitable is Kepler 443b, is 2,540 light years. Most distant visible, CVSO 30c, 1,200 light years. It was the first directly imaged transition planet. Most least distant visible, Fomalhaut B at 25 light years. Most least distant period is Proxima Centauri, B is 4 light years. The largest radius is GQ Lupi B, 3 Jupiter radii plus or minus 0.5. The most dense, you can get the name on that one, 23.7 per grams per centimeter. I forget what the Earth was. Least dense was 0.303 grams per centimeter. The hottest one was Kepler 70b, is greater than 7,000 degrees Kelvin. 1 degree Kelvin is 457.87 degrees Fahrenheit. So 457 times 7,000, it's pretty hot. The coldest one, Ogle 216 KLG 1185, was 31 Kelvin. The Ogle one, the Finding Planets with microlensing, this was a rarity because it didn't last very long because of where we were. So you could see the thing, Spitzer's line of sight, Earth's line of sight, the foreground star, where the star was. Yeah, up to tens of thousands of light years away. The Spitzer was infrared, right? Anybody know?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so Spitzer was infrared. Yeah, and from where we were and from Spitzer saw the event first, and then ground-based telescopes saw it next. You can see the dip, and apparently those readings were an indication of the planet. Some of the potentially habitable ones, Proxima Centauri, is actually apparently in a habitable zone. I just saw something in Astronomy Magazine about that again, about Proxima Centauri B. Teegarden star B and C, 12 light years. Wolf 1061C at 14 light years. Most of us have heard about TRAPPIST that follow this stuff. 4, there's 4 planets there that are all in a habitable zone. I think I'm sure if that one's a red dwarf or not, but that's 41 light years. And then several K2 is 217 light years. It's would have been the 5th one discovered. And then several Kepler ones, 561, 770, 1115, and 1200 light years. Now, those are all in well, I don't know if in the habitable zone, but it's at a distance from the sun that it would have the habitable zone there. And something about suns, as you can see, where in the main sequence, our sun is there, right towards the middle, and how they go from main sequence, they go to a red giant and then dip down to a white dwarf after they sloughed off all their outer layers, and will eventually cool over trillions of years as a white dwarf. Some of the discoverers, the telescopes and such, the Transatlantic Exoplanet Survey used 3 4-inch telescopes. When Lisa told me that, I was like, 4-inch telescopes? But Lowell Observatory, Palomar Observatory, and Teed Observatory. I'm not sure where Teed is. I don't think I looked that up. They were all 4-inch Schmidt telescopes with CCD cameras. Observe bright stars using transit method, which are dips in light from planets crossing the face of the star with automated search routines programmed into them. This is created by David Charbonneau of the Center for Astrophysics, Timothy Brown of the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and Edward Dunham of Lowell Observatory. And there were 5 planets discovered. And I figured I better give the guys credit for that, those. So. The Test Space Observatory is an acronym for Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. Another misspelled word. It's in the moon and TESS are in a 2-to-1 resonance, orbiting the Earth. For every one orbit of the moon, TESS, or two orbits of the moon. test orbits once. Launched in April 2018. First flight was taken on August 7th, 2018. Surveyed an area 400 times larger than the Kepler survey. 200,000 GK and M-type stars to be studied, including the 1,000 closest red dwarfs, since there was a lot of these exoplanets with habitable zones were around red dwarfs. It is expected to discover 20,000 transiting exoplanets, including 500 to 1,000 Earth-sized planets and super-Earths. Of those discoveries, an estimated 20 will be located in the habitable zone. TRESS telescope is Transatlantic Exoplanet Survey. Oh, what did I do? Did I go the wrong? Okay, all right, sorry about that. And then, of course, most of us have heard of the Kepler telescope. But January 2015, Kepler had found 1,013 confirmed planets, along with 3,199 unconfirmed planet candidates. Over its 9.5 years of service, Kepler observed 530,506 stars, detected 2,662 planets. I think that number might even be higher than that now. I thought it was like over 4,000, but maybe that's just potential candidates again. 2012, I thought this was pretty interesting, so I added it. In 2012, the mission was expected to be extended until 2016, but on July 14th, 2012, one of the spacecraft's 4 reaction wheels remained unreliable. It broke down. So then on May 11, 2013, a second reaction wheel failed, disabling the collection of science data and threatening the continuation of the mission. And in November, somebody came up with an idea for a plan was proposed to utilize the remaining 2 wheels and thrusters to detect habitable planets around smaller and dimmer red dwarfs, which would probably be closer. This proposal was called Second Light. Known potentialities, possible ones we're thinking about in habitable zones: Proxima Centauri B, around a red dwarf, 11.186 day rotation of the year. Distance is 0.0485 AU from its star. 1.27 Earth masses, 234 degrees Kelvin. Kepler 186F was 129.944 day year. And that one is 1.17 Earth radii, and it was also 5 confirmed planets around that star. F was, they're really looking at F as a really potential Earth-like. It's got the size, it's got the mass. They just need to verify that it has an atmosphere. Gliese 581G is 20 light years away. This one was apparently it was unconfirmed. It's totally locked in the habitable zone. 2012 reanalysis supported this, that it was in the habitable zone. 2014 reanalysis refuted it. 2015 reanalysis reported it could exist. Potentially dense atmosphere can circulate heat from -35 to 10 degrees average. So it's somewhat Earth-like. Earth average is 59 degrees. So did it have to be cold? Colder. There are plenty of cold life forms that live in ices and at the bottom of the ocean where it's really cold and stuff like that. So could be something there maybe. HD 2781, HD 228.072. That's a binary system. 9,080 AU separation between the 2 stars. Each planet has a planetary system in an S-type orbit. That means that the star that the planet orbits each single star. The P-type of orbit orbits both stars, but the S-type orbits each star. This is the first time planets had been found in both components of a binary system. 781 has B and C companions. B is at 0.169 AU and 291-day rotation. C is 3456.3456 AU and 85 to 131-day rotation. I didn't get my information in there in 72. Some of the more bizarre ones. Eccentricities. WASP, I found this one really interesting. WASP 76b, it's 640 light years away, 0.92 Jupiter mass, so it's probably about the size of Saturn. It's 10 times closer than Mercury is to our sun. Has a 1.8 day rotation at 0.033 AU. It's an F-type star, 1.14 solar mass, yellow-white main sequence star, so it's somewhat similar to ours. Probably gets a lot of radiation being that close. Known as a hot Jupiter, the surface temperature is 430 degrees Fahrenheit on the tidally locked sun side. This is hot enough to melt some metals, and apparently they know that there's an atmosphere around this one because they say it's wind driven by extreme temperature differences push the vaporized metals to the dark side, where it condensates out as iron rain. So it actually rains like molten. I don't know if it'd still be molten at the time, but it actually rains iron from the sky. And that was published in the March 11 Nature issue, and I actually got that from this month's next month's Astronomy magazine. Oh, okay. And now, some of the other eccentricities. So I have to go to my notes. Gliese 667 has an A, B, and C stars. It's a trinary star system. A and B orbit each other, and C orbits them both at 12.6 AU. C has a 0.58 eccentricity. C orbits A and B at 23 AU. CB, same blast. And then around there's a planetary, a planet around the C component of that. So it's capital C, small c. One of the best candidates to host liquid water. 5 more possible planetary candidates. Another circumbinary, Kepler 447, 3,340 light years away. One star is sun-like, very sun-like. The other one is about a third of the size of our sun. Common center of gravity every 7.45 days. 47B and 47C. 47B is 3.1 AU from the star. 47C is 4.7 AU. 47C is 7 times bigger than Earth and has a 303-day orbital period, so for 303-day year. Well, the last one I had was 55 Cancri. Is that, does anybody know, is that CANCRI, is that Cancri or it's cancer?
You are correct. It is Cancri.
Cancri. I wasn't sure if it was Cancri or Cancri. All right, so Cancri. This is what has been known as the diamond planet. It's a binary, 41 light years away in Cancer. Rho Cancri. 55 CNC. That's the K-type star. And in that system, they all have names. There was Copernicus. There was Brahe. Can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. I didn't write them down. And there's a red dwarf. 5 planets: B, C, D, E, and F. Oh, there we go. They named Galileo, Brahe, Lippershey, Janssen, Harriot, around a main sequence. The Harriot's, is that the one around the main sequence? Subgiant, it's super metal rich, 1,065 AUs. Instead of I hadn't heard of this one. Instead of SETI, there's METI. What is that? Message extraterrestrial intelligence, I'm guessing. But a message was sent. Eurasia's 230-foot Eupatoria planetary radar. It was called Cosmic Call 2. It was sent to 55 Cancri FE, I think. Yeah, it was E. July 6, 2003. It won't arrive there until May 2044. The innermost planet, 2 times Earth radius, 8 times the mass. It has an 18-hour year. And then apparently there was a later study that refuted its diamond status. And the reason they called it that because it was so close and so hot that they got like incredible carbon readings. I mean, really high carbon readings. So they think that it had a diamond layer with a graphite crust. And so they think that the planet was, I mean, like the graphite crust, and the mantle would be diamond. And I'm not, of course, they're not sure about the cores. But apparently, somebody tried to refute the diamond status, which is, I mean, we definitely want to get hold of that place, right? But and then, okay, and that's about the end of my planetary stuff. It's about the end of my presentation. And then I was thinking about it today, and it was like, well, wait a minute. We have like Europa, and Titan, and planets right here in our solar system that have moons that have the potential for life. So what about the moons around all these other planets? I mean, look at all the planets that have been discovered. Of course, they can't tell if they have a moon. So that even adds to the equation. I mean, that's something I don't think that was considered in the Drake equation was, the planets and stuff. But what about the moons? So that just hit me today. And I find that thought really intriguing. It just, the possibilities are endless if you really think about it. So that's my presentation. I thank everybody for listening. This would not have been possible without some of the typing help and research help from my great girlfriend. So this was a joint effort. Julie and I put this together. We both thank you, and everybody have a great meeting.
Thank you, Rodney. Would you take any questions?
Absolutely.
I find it fascinating that they're only using 4-inch telescopes for these observations.
Testa or Lisa told me that, and I was like, well, she said 4.5-inch telescopes, but then I was looking, it was 4-inch, but it's like 4-inch telescopes. I mean, how does that work? I mean, you need an 8-inch to see Pluto, to have the chance to see Pluto and from here, so yeah, I was really, really surprised about the whole thing. So I'm going to turn that off.
Lee has a question. What's your favorite planet?
Well, Earth.
I knew it. I knew it.
I couldn't resist.
It's your favorite exoplanet.
I think. Actually, the Gliese 581G, it's only 20 light years away. It is in the habitable zone, but it's tidally locked, so it'd probably have the same thing as that WASP. It would be hot on one side. Only one side would probably be habitable, if anything. But also Proxima Centauri, I mean, that one's the closest one. So, I mean, the chance for getting there someday, somehow, are, much higher than anywhere else. So I'd probably maybe have to say Proxima Centauri just because of its nearness and the potential of reaching it.
Would you, if you could, would you do your own light curve observations?
Any other questions? Pardon me?
Would you do your own light curve observations if you had a 4-inch telescope?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure I would. I mean, I would have to, somebody'd have to teach me how to do that, but
Back at Misrule 2013, there was a gentleman who did a presentation on observing light curves. And I've got it on video because I interviewed him, but I'll try to put that link to the video in the Discord. But it was a fascinating, because he said that he doesn't do any visual observing. Everything's through a camera.
Oh, really?
He just gathers the data, and that's how he views things, is that way. It's like when was the last time you used an eyepieces? I don't know. 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And you know what? I even have an astrophotography something on Facebook that I follow, and I really want to get in astrophotography. It's just a matter of, I'm debating on, I mean, should I get, a DSLR camera, get a Canon or a Nikon, or should I go straight for the CCD? And I mean, I don't really know. And of course, they're not free. So,
Sure. From my perspective, you should, you can buy cheap Canon bodies for like $150 on eBay. And you just get a wide lens, start wide, right? Because then you can get the pictures and then move down to a more narrow or a longer focal length. And you're teaching yourself all the skills as the wide shot, and then as you move narrower, you're learning the other parts of it too.
That makes sense. And also, I mean, and I'm not sure if I could, if that would work on my, if I could do like the editing for those, like, the stacking and stuff, like on my tablet or not, or if I'd have to have like a laptop and, well, of course my tablet doesn't work unless it's got Wi-Fi,
Sure.
You don't get Wi-Fi outside. So
if it's for yourself, do you really need to edit it? You're viewing it for yourself.
I suppose that's true. I mean, but I mean, like stacking in for like color and stuff. I mean,
sure.
Don't you want to make it as pure an image as possible?
Yeah, but I mean, if you want it to make those really pretty pictures that people see online, yes.
Yeah.
But if you're just learning and doing it, I think that it doesn't have to be super expensive. John Johnson, you have a T3i, I believe, and it's a very capable camera. It might be several years old, but it'll still produce pictures fairly well.
See, and I had an adapter, and I lost a piece for it, of course, and now it doesn't work anymore. But I had an adapter that attached my smartphone to my telescope, and I didn't get any further than moonshots, but I got some pretty good moonshots just with my phone. I've got a pretty decent camera on my phone, and I got some pretty good shots through my eyepiece.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking the slow route, so.
Any other questions, anybody?
I didn't realize, sorry, someone else talked. My
No, that's
bad.
fine. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't realize that Fomalhaut was the closest one that you could see, because like I didn't even think about it, but yeah, you can't see Proxima Centauri, not with the naked eye. I totally did not know that, and I thought that was great. It's not really a question. That's just a comment.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
no,
like,
that's
point out Fomalhaut now and be
yeah,
like, you see
yeah.
that?
Yeah, no, and thanks for pointing that out because doing this research, I saw that there is a visible star like right next to Proxima Centauri. So you can go like, all right, I can almost see the planet, the word that's closest, or the star that's closest, because it's right next to that one, So it's,
Yeah.
it's within, I mean, I don't know how many like arc minutes, but yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
No, I saw that when on, in the presentation, I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you see Fomalhaut in the summer and it's just like, oh, there's this stupid star over there. It's not particularly anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. So.
Yeah, and that information came from one of the was that the PHL about Fomalhaut. So that was by your direction. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that PHL had put out. Didn't they have like a thing about the list of all the stars that you can see with your naked eye that do have planets? I think they had a list
I
one
believe, yeah, I
time.
believe there was a list on there for that. Yes.
I should go look it up.
If there was some kind of a database that would have this.
Only there was a database.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
I forgot about PHL, honestly. Rodney, that conversation was so long ago. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just thought that was so cool. And I was like,
this year, I mean, it seems like, it's like February. It seems like it was 5 years ago. I mean, my God, I mean, this year has just got everybody just bleh.
This might be a stupid question, but you were talking about moons. Have they actually discovered a moon of an extrasolar moon yet? Did you?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any mention of it. I don't think I've heard about it. Well, now that I think about it, was there something? There might have been something like in an astronomy magazine or something, 7-8 months ago, maybe, but I can't guarantee that. I'm not sure if I actually saw that or not,
I want to say I saw something like that in Star and Telescope or space.com that they did discover a moon around an extrasolar planet.
Okay, see, and I kind of thought maybe they did. And what was it? What do I get? I get like Earth Sky News, on my phone, and maybe it's something like that I saw it.
I'm just waiting for them to find Endor. That's what I'm really waiting for.
Well, they found Tatooine, so.
Right.
You want to meet Endor? You want to go? You want to go meet go see the Ewoks, right?
Yes. Just a small moon that looks exactly like the forests of Oregon. I think that would be ideal.
Is that where that was shot?
I don't know. It looks like it though, right?
Okay.
Just on a side note about watching the transits and identifying planets, I used to be part of Zooniverse. It was a citizen science project for exoplanets, and I did that for a few years. So that's actually pretty interesting. They have a lot of other things you could contribute to as well. I haven't done that for a few years now.
Really? What was that called?
Zooniverse, right, Krista? Am I? Yeah.
That's correct. It's Zooniverse. It's a citizen scientist. I was going to look to see if they still had it for exoplanets or not.
Yeah, I haven't logged on for a while now, but that used to be something I used to do for a while.
And what do you just? It's like you just like sift through data.
You just sift through data.
Like some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've tons of different research opportunities. You kind of pick your topic and then you go through and you look and they'll tell you how to do. It started off with galaxy identification.
Oh, really?
It used to be like a galaxy quest. It started off, I think, was the first one, and then it just kind of exploded because now with computers, everybody's collecting all this data. They don't have time to go back and reanalyze it, and of course, software, you can't always catch everything. So I think they had one for exoplanets. I don't know if it's still active.
in doing this research, there was just a story about this guy. He was doing an internship somewhere, and his third day in, he found something. I forget exactly what it was, but there was this amazing planet that they didn't around this star that they didn't know was there, and and it was his third day in this internship. So
Lucky bastard.
yeah, agreed.
Jeff in the chat has mentioned that there is a course. It's of course not free, but for amateur equipment to observe exoplanets. So that was aavos.org. Or sorry, aavso.org as a course for observing exoplanets with amateur equipment. Not free, but intense.
Oh, it's not free, but okay. But I have heard of that.
Great. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I kind of wanted to do a dry run of that, and it's been a crazy week, and a crazy couple of weeks, and I didn't quite have. So I'm sorry I was a little short in my presentation, and if it wasn't as smooth as it could have been, then my apologies.
Blame Zoom. Blame
It
going
was
to
great,
Zoom.
Rodney.
Okay,
Good
okay.
research.
It was
I
good.
appreciated
Enjoyed
it.
it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Nina.
Put Brian Tieman's name in the chat. He was at Misrule 2013 talking about doing exoplanet observation.
What's his name?
Brian Tieman, Tieman. He's in the, I think it's a Kansas City club. ASKSC, I believe. I did the interview, so I posted the video on the Slack channel, but I can also put it in our chat here. So that was if you did not know, OAS was the host of Misrule 2013 that year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent. I didn't know that. I wish I'd have been a member then.
Well, there's at least 2 videos of interviews that we did.
Yeah, I was involved with something, John. I can't remember now. But
I remember Louis had a presentation.
Yeah.
On time, if I remember correctly. Nina on star quilts.
That was a cool one, yeah.
That was cool. I wish I had that on
quilts?
video. Yes. There's some great pictures too of the various designs.
And mine was on the Cullender star cluster list.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw John there. This is a great opportunity to let everybody else know. John and I have talked about this briefly. I went to the NSP in 2007, and John, we went and at the flea market. I was talking to John, and I recognized him. Once I started it came to my first meeting, and I was talking to John. It was like, I believe we met, and he was like, yeah, I think I remember you. And I said, you had a 6-inch blank that you were trying to sell, and I was thinking about buying it. He was like, yeah, I remember you.
I would never buy a 6-inch blank. I would accept one for free, but I would not buy one.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about it, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it and how to do anything with it. So I was like, yeah, maybe I better not. So I think, Prudence suggested the proper course on that one.
I had a guy who was to the university when I left. I was like, I know you have a 1-meter mirror sitting down there doing nothing. You're not going to turn that into a telescope. Just give it to me. And the guy was like, no, the professor was like, no, you got to buy it. And I was like, all right, $500. And he was like, I was thinking more like 5,000. I was like, well, you know who to call when you come to your senses.
A 1 meter?
1 meter, 1 meter mirror. Yeah, it was all ground and everything.
Oh, it was ground?
It was ground.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to have to try and grind that sucker yourself.
Nope. And I would not give him it's still sitting there. I'm still waiting for him to call me. I'm just like, you call me when you're ready to come to your senses. But like $5,000 for a 1 meter mirror, absolutely not. That's not, because then I have to make it, you know, it's like
Well, yeah.
the blanks
and-
are, I don't know. The mirrors,
Well, imagine the building materials you'd have to purchase for a 1 meter mirror.
right?
Holy cow.
Yeah. And they're not doing anything with it. I mean, that's the other thing too. I'm just like, it's just sitting in a basement. You're doing nothing. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, Lee. It's a lot of fun to grind a mirror.
Is it $5,000 worth of fun? Is it?
Yeah.
Do you remember what type of material that mirror was made, or the blank was made from?
He did not mention. I saw it. It was very heavy. That's all I can tell you. And it's in southern Utah, so.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I've heard of heavy metal, but heavy glass, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they get heavy, but I don't know. Like I say.
Eric, how heavy is your mirror?
I have never weighed it, but I was going to invite Rodney, if you ever want to help me set up my telescope, you're welcome to see what a 24-inch mirror weighs.
Holy cow. Hey, you know what? Hey, I'd take you up on that, to tell you the truth.
Well, Stafford and Bill and John and I think Cleet and who else?
We've all helped.
I've helped you.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, I think that mirror gets
Give it
heavier
online.
every year.
Yeah. So anyway.
The value of
There's-
it online
So we're
for
doing-
your telescope, Eric, is the mirror itself is 80 pounds.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's 80
That
pounds.
doesn't include that steel frame that it's in.
Right, yeah, then I got some concentric squares, right? Stafford, the tube steel on top of that so that it holds it, so, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
So
the,
take 3 guys in a small crane?
No, usually 2 of us are
Must be facetious.
pretty hardy, right, you guys? 2
Yeah,
of us
yeah.
generally do it. Bill and John and Stafford and Cleet, and I don't know if Chuck Nedley's here, but he's helped. But you guys, Stafford, how thick was that? You know, the mirror, because it's 24-inch diameter, and it is how thick?
I think it's a 2-inch thick mirror.
Yeah, most.
I was gonna say
in
probably
that
have to
range
be.
are 2 inches.
I was going to say 2 inches or so.
Yeah. So that weighs 80 pounds, just that, you guys, then, if that's correct, Stafford. I've never weighed it, so I just
Yeah,
lug it, you know. Well, I lug my share, and you guys lug the other share of it. So
So Lee, that was just a mirror without any figure in it, just a blank, just no figure in it.
Oh, over at the Southern Utah University, you mean the mirror, the 1 meter mirror?
Yeah.
I don't remember how thick it was, honestly. I'm sure Cameron told me, but I forgot. That was
No,
like.
I mean, it's just a completely flat blank. It hasn't gotten anything.
Oh no, it's been ground.
Yeah,
No, it's ready to
ground,
it's
yeah.
ready to be turned into a telescope. They just haven't done it yet because it's not. I mean, they would have to. This is always the problem, right? Where it's like, then you're gonna have to house it. I mean, where are you gonna put it? How are you gonna keep it from getting gross? You know, and there's no way for them. They have an observatory, but the problem is it's not big enough. Like, it literally, if it had any kind of focal length that wasn't, you know, like, I don't know, focal ratio of 3, it would not fit into the observatory that they have. So it doesn't fit. Pretty much the biggest scope they can fit in the dome is probably 24 inches as far as like having more than a 3 focal ratio. But then, you know, they've got this 1 meter mirror because, and I know exactly why, it's because one of the previous professors, who's retired now, was like, we're going to get this and then we're going to build this thing around it. We're going to put it in the observatory, and then it never happened. So
is the mirror silvered?
I believe it is, yes. I mean, it looked silvered. I saw it. It looked silvered.
$5,000 would be quite a bargain for that bigger
Yeah.
mirror. That would probably be
Not
done.
giving them $5,000. They are not using that mirror. I'm a very poor person.
yeah, but that would be very cheap, you guys. And I found out several years ago. I don't know, Stafford, if you told me it, or Cleet or John or Bill.
Well,
Anyway, you guys, Owens Corning used to make all the large mirror blanks in the United States up until about maybe 5 years ago. So if you want to go get a large mirror blank, you have to go to Deutschland now. You have to go to Germany. They're the only people that make them now, because Owens Corning got out of the business about 5 years ago. So I don't have mine. I've talked to my insurance agent for my homeowners to put mine on. So it's on a rider kind of, but I want you to know, Lee, 5,000, I agree with Bill, would be very, very cheap, you know, for that mirror blank.
Does anyone here have like the ultra compact obsession telescopes? Anybody looked into that at all?
We have
No,
looked at some. Doesn't John Spack have one?
John Spack does.
John, yeah, in Chicago, a friend of ours in Chicago, he's got an 18-inch. Yeah.
Does he like it? How does he like the setup?
It's nice. I will say this, you got it, you know, it doesn't have a lot of, I'm going to say it this way. It would be interesting to see how the larger ones are, because I think his is right on the border of not needing the structure. I think the larger an instrument you have, you just have to have some sort of structure for it, because the secondary cage or your secondary mirror and your optics up there have to, if I can, be supported somehow, you know, so it'd be interesting to see what a larger one, but his 18 is right on the border. Okay.
There's also an obsession at 18-inch classic, which I think will give you more stability.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's two things that John Spack had mentioned with his, as far as, you know, the optics and stuff are probably as good as you're going to get through an obsession, but he's mentioned some critiques on the wearability and durability of some of the electronic routing pieces, because they wear a little bit easier from exposure. But he also mentions too, something there's a little bit more flexure in the entire structure, where the classic with the heavier built box gives you way more stability. And Dave Krieger, to some extent, covers a couple of these topics on his website.
Would those be full structure, or would it be like a truss tube?
No. His Rodney, he only has, if I can, he only has one member coming up and holding his cage. I mean, it's real light. I mean,
really.
You would think, yeah, you'd think that you'd want 3 or 4 members coming up and, you know,
sure,
making a set.
Well, there actually are three trusses, so to speak, on that, but it's a compromise between strength and lightness. The ultra compacts are considered to be truss tube scopes, but the 15s and the 18s have 3, and I think the 22 has a full 4 pole or 8 pole structure. The others have 6. Probably the best they do is, if you have the opportunity to look at their site, they show some good pictures of it. It's very workable, but they do say that the classics are the more stable structure on in their inventory. So,
and I would say that when it's really, really windy, it's a run for his money, you know, because the wind is just wreaks havoc. So, but anyway, yeah. But I would say that would be probably, I wouldn't go any higher with that on an ultra light. I'll say it that way.
Okay.
Because of what his telescope's like. So I agree with you, Stafford.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to finish up here. Let's do the secretary's report.
Okay, secretary's report. The May 2020 OAS meeting was held on Friday, May 1st at 7:30. And like this meeting, it was a virtual meeting using Zoom. We had 36 members logged in at the time the meeting started, 2 guests. Bill Bond used AstroPark a few times in April, and John Kelly Larson went once. John gave us a little rundown on the OAS member benefits. Astronomical League membership, Reflector Magazine, Stella Newsletter, Telescope Loan Program, awards programs, access to AstroPark. Awards, we had no awards in May. Rodney Botroff has volunteered to assume the awards chair position in addition to his duties as vice president. So thank you, Rodney. Observing, Sonali Deshmukh gave us a brief presentation on May observing events. including looking for Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn in the mornings, Venus putting on a dazzling show in the evenings as it headed towards inferior conjunction in June, which we just had. Mercury was at superior conjunction on May 21st and was very close to Venus, best seen hour after sunset. We had the Eta Aquariids for a meteor shower, and Comet Pan-STARRS was at perihelion on May 4th. Outreach, we had another month where there was no scheduled outreach events for May because of the COVID-19. MISRAL has been postponed to 2021. Nebraska Star Party still scheduled for July 19 to 24. We currently have about 40 people registered. Decision will be made in mid-June as to whether or not it goes. If it does have to be canceled, refunds will be given. Telescope loan program. In May, all the telescopes had been checked out except for the 8-inch Black Orion Dob and the 11 by 80 binoculars. The newly donated Celestron 4SE had been checked out for the first time. Due to the COVID-19 outbreak, return dates on all the equipment loans have been extended to July. Tool time. John Johnson gave us a video clips of the moon and Venus that he took with his 10-inch SCT using Canon EOS camera movie record. Program. Lee Reese gave us a program called the Astronomy Educators Toolkit, a tour of useful databases. And she just named a number of databases, including the NASA ADS database, which is especially useful for historical information and finding original papers. The Minor Planet Center, which has a nifty orbital plotting tool. SIMBAD, which contains information from all the major stellar catalogs, as well as a good list of journals and object types. The Astronomy Nexus, a database of 118,000 stars, and the database allows you to sort stars by all different kinds of characteristics, magnitude, distance from Earth, etc. Recons, a database looking at stars closest to our solar system, and exoplanet.eu, which is exactly what it sounds like, an exoplanet database with clickable links to original papers. Business meeting, the secretary's report. Minutes were prepared and read by me. A correction was noted on the April meeting minutes that Bill Bond had visited Astro Park in March. A motion to accept the minutes as amended was made by Cletus Baker and seconded by Rodney Botroff. The motion was passed. Treasury report presented by Michael Gallagher. The April 2020 Treasurer's report, we had $149.98 worth of income, $242 of expenditures, $11,775.94 was the account balance at the end of the month. We had 11 members still owing dues. 5 were dropped from the OAS member roll in April after a 3-month grace period. It was clarified that the members received 3 notices by email and by regular mail before they are dropped from the rolls. Vice President's report. Rodney Botroff said he was unable to make it out to Astro Park during April. On his earlier visit, the lighthouse had blown over. A suggestion made to use blue water made for RV toilets to refill the lighthouse, as well as to double check the unit to make sure it didn't have any leaks. Rodney was still trying to contact a service company that's supposed to service the lighthouse. Old business, Discord chat server has been set up. John noted that 1 new person had signed up. Lee Reese suggested doing a tool time segment on the Discord platform. John mentioned he was planning a program about it, but this could be changed to a series of tool time sessions if desired. There was no additional old business. New business, the question was raised as to whether the July 3rd meeting should be moved to July 10th in lieu of the holiday weekend. It was noted that in the past, the meeting was moved in part because the UNO parking lot fills up with cars due to the holiday concert, which won't be a factor this year as the OAS meeting in July will be virtual. And that due to the virus, people probably won't be traveling much. The decision was made to keep July 3rd as the July meeting date. A motion to close was made by Bill Bond, seconded by Eric Balcom, and passed. The next meeting, Friday, June 5th, 2020, which is also a Zoom virtual meeting. Information on how to log in will be in Stella. The URL and login info will be the same every month. And that's it.
Thanks, Diane. For tonight's motions, remember to say your name aloud. Is there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Yeah, John, this is Bill Bond. You did spell my name incorrectly up in the first paragraph or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that.
This is Mike Gallagher.
Yes, Mike.
Just to be correct, I contact people by email, and I use regular mail if email doesn't work.
Okay.
This is Rodney.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Also, my name is misspelled.
Where's it misspelled?
Right in the second, right in the very top, Secretary's report, right there.
Okay.
Last name was Bottorff. 2 T's, transverse the R and the O.
Okay.
There you go. John's got it.
I just put it in chat.
Yep, now I see
Okay.
that. Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that was like the business meeting. It's like, oh yeah, my name probably ought to be spelled right, huh? I was gonna let it slide. It's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Everybody spells it wrong. You pronounce it wrong too, but big deal.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
Rodney, motion.
Rodney.
Cleet Baker to accept it, to second it.
Cleet to second. A motion has been made and seconded to accept the minutes as amended. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Awesome. Thank you. Get back to my slides to keep track of what I'm doing. Oh, nice.
Oh boy.
Oh, there went my phone too.
That's the curfew.
Oh.
Oh.
Jumping Jiminy.
We have no excuse for not knowing.
I know what time I'm supposed to get up, Mom. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what that was.
Treasurer's report.
Yeah. Wait, I thought it was one.
No curfew for me, apparently. So for May, we received just short of $300 in dues for memberships and $20 in donation, $27 in Amazon Smile for a total of $22.33. And expenditures for birthday registration and some postage, we paid $56.66 and made a $100 donation to International Dark Sky Association, which we do annually, for a total of $156.66. And so far this month, I know I've received a couple of dues. A couple of people have paid their dues, and I know that we will be $150 we paid for mowing in the last couple of days at the Castle Park. And I know that coming up very shortly, we'll be paying our Astor League dues, which are every year, which is about, I don't know what it is, $6 a person or $7 a person, something like that. Did take one person off the rolls from last month. as a result of not paying dues. And that would be all. The balance at the end of the month, 12,066.99. Actually, it was 11,996.99 minus $100, but that didn't show up in the bank account. Anyway.
Mike, did you ever hear back from that person who didn't have the correct email address?
Yes.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Mike. Vice President's report.
Great picture.
Thanks.
I still haven't been out there. Nobody said anything. I'm guessing I did make the call to waste management to service the lighthouse. Had it been done?
Yes.
Okay, I figured as much because nobody said anything. So, and I also have. We're talking about blue water. I could probably get a 5-gallon container from work, and get some of that blue water from someplace and I don't know. We have that one building that doesn't the doors doesn't have a door on it, and maybe put it in there and just add to it as it evaporates off. I mean, it's just a thought.
Just be careful. There might be wasps in there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know there is. I've seen it. But it's gonna be on the floor. It's gonna be down low, and snatch it in, snatch it out, and put it back in.
Okay.
Quietly and gently. I'm also while I'm on. I've seen the name in the rosters, and it was mentioned tonight. Chuck Niedley. We used to be roommates. I know that guy. And I keep waiting for him to show up at a meeting or something so I can run into him and say, "Hey, Chuck," but still haven't seen or heard from him. So.
Yes.
Yeah, he's part of our Nebraska Star Party planning meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
That's what you know. What it's funny. I remember when when we were roommates, he was going to school and he was taking astronomy 101. So I found that amusing. But.
Yep.
And also, I wanted to think. Been thinking. Would it be possible? I'm not trying to spend our money or anything, but would it be possible to come up with a decent telescope and put it in one of those buildings, and maybe we get more people down there? I mean, it's just a thought. I mean, since I live close to there, I mean, we could keep it locked. I could have, and somebody say, "Hey, I'm going to be down there," and I could go unlock it for them and lock it back up when they're done. Just a thought.
How big is the building? Do you know what the dimensions are?
No, I haven't measured it. What is it? Is it a 10 by 12? Anybody else?
I was going to say it's big enough for a 1-meter mirror to be in there.
Yeah, but is it big enough for the tube? Okay, so I'm probably going to be getting my 9.5 inch, but it does have quite a longer focal ratio than would be normal. So it's kind of a long telescope, and I'd totally be willing to donate it to put it on something in somewhere. It is a daub. But the reality is, like, out here, I do have quite a few telescopes that I'm just not using. So that one's kind of a big clunker, and I think it could go into, I mean, it's a good telescope, but it has to probably go into an observatory. It is frustrating to lug around for sure, because it's just kind of long.
Yeah. It's got to be heavy.
It is heavy. It's definitely, the heaviness is not an issue. It's definitely movable. The issue is its length is kind of, I mean, it's about, I guess I would say it's about when it's in its actual, when it's sitting, in its mount, it's taller than I am. So it's over 5'5". I've never measured it, but that's how tall it is. So.
Well, around that in the survey, we talk about on-site equipment for members. So if you haven't filled out the survey yet, it's kind of on there.
Okay,
So
great.
that would
Yeah.
probably mean some amount of facility upkeep. So if you haven't done the survey yet.
Hey,
But if we
John.
have like a lot of money, we should just buy like the best Schmidt Cassegrain. Like, don't accept some 9.5-inch Dob. You know, it's a good telescope, but I'm just saying we could get the one that's like a 12-inch. Ooh, we could get a 14-inch Schmidt, Schmidt Cassegrain, and then we could get the one that's the new one that you can put like astrophotography like right on it. I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Make it look like the top of our building. Kristen's got all those telescopes up there.
Hey, John, I came late to the party. Could you explain again how you can fill out that survey?
Okay, there's a link in the chat.
Could we fill out the survey later?
Yeah, you can fill it out at any time. The link's in the chat. I can also email it to you if you would like.
Yeah, I think, this is dumb, but
we're going to put it in the Stella too.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because I see up there you've got 6 responses, and we've got a club that's about 100. So I'm just kind of wondering, how could we get it out to most of the members so that we could get their opinions,
Well, it was a kind of a part of the discussion last night, and the survey didn't get put together until this afternoon. So it was too late. It was past the Stella deadline to get it in for this month, but we hope to get it in for next month.
Good. That'd be great, because then you're going to get more responses.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, those 6 responses are from people in the meeting that weren't paying attention and went off playing on the internet to answer a survey.
I see.
I could listen and fill that out at the same time.
Ditto.
That's right.
Steve Skinner raises his hand.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So am I active here or not?
You are. I'm just watching our time. That's all.
All right. I'm sorry. Well, listen, I think that it would be a while, but a good time to give the survey would be at the December meeting. And the attendance is large. People would have to understand that their survey filled out would be what they exchange for a ticket for the giveaways.
Well,
now wait a minute. I already did it. I need to get a ticket in December too.
So it'll be available for a while. It's not going to go away. This is going to be a fluid thing. It's going to take time to gather all of it, and we can get that information in.
I'm being a little facetious, but not much.
I
mean, we have usually a very large attendance in December. And if you would like to get input from your members, that would be a very good time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But now we have 8. You can see the numbers actually change on the screen. Look at that.
I would like to get names and numbers of the people who haven't been paying attention to the 2 people who have not been paying attention to this program.
There's
got my hand up.
Multitasking.
Okay.
I don't know how to put my hand. Sorry, I don't know how to put my hand up on my thing. So.
Oh, you did?
No, I don't know how to.
Oh, that's all right.
So I got my hand up over here.
So there is no old business. New business. We have elections for the Astronomical League. So there are 2 positions. Why is my browser not working? There we go. The position of the president. The president shall be the chief executive officer of the league. She shall have general charge of and supervision of the business and affairs of the league, subject to the powers vested in him or her by the council. He or she shall have the power to sign, execute, and terminate all contracts, deeds, obligations, and other legal instruments in the name of the league as authorized by the council. She shall preside over the national business meeting, council, and executive committee meetings, and shall have a vote on all issues. He or she may call special sessions of the council or executive committee as prescribed in Article 8. Period. Okay. He, she shall create and appoint special committees and shall be an ex officio member of all committees except the Committee on Nominations. In the event of death, vacancy, resignation, or disability of any executive officer other than the president shall appoint a successor to fill the unexpired term. He or she may, upon completion of his or her tenure, serve as an advisory member or counsel without vote until succeeded. He or she shall direct the ongoing review and updating of the League's priority program goals required by Article 7, Section 2. The immediate past president may serve as an advisory member of council without vote until succeeded. The vice president shall assist the president in the discharge of his or her duties and perform them in the case of absence, death, disability, or resignation of the president. He or she shall chair, or if a candidate for office, co-chair, or nominating committee, or excuse me, the nominating committee, he, she shall chair national award committees delegated to the vice president by standing resolution of the council, promote presentation of annual awards in each league region, and serve as ex officio member on all league award committees. Those are the two positions that are currently open for election. Now we have our candidates. President candidate statement from James Dyer. After starting a paper route at age 12, one of my first purchases was a 60 millimeter refractor, which gave me a good views of lunar craters, follow the moons of Jupiter, and see Saturn's rings. I was hooked. I attended the University of Missouri in Kansas City and joined the Astronomical Society of Kansas City, eventually serving as their president my last year of college, 1981 to 82. I can honestly say I learned more practical astronomy as a member of this amateur club than in any of my undergraduate classes. After leaving Kansas City, I continued to observe with local astronomy clubs, the Central Florida Astronomical Society, the Baltimore Astronomical Society of New Haven, the Thames Amateur Astronomical Society, Cleveland County, North Carolina Astronomical Society, the Las Vegas Astronomical Society, the Peoria Astronomical Society, and the Cowie Educational Association for Science and Astronomy. While president of the ASKC, I initiated the Powell Observatory Project, which houses a 30-inch Newtonian. Also, I constructed and served as the initial director of the Coast Guard Academy Astronomical Observatory in Stonington, Connecticut, which houses a 20-inch Ritchie-Cassegrain telescope. I earned a MS in physics from the University of Central Florida and an MA and PhD from the Johns Hopkins University, both in planetary science. For many years early in my career, I was a professor of physics and astronomy. Currently, I am the chancellor of Methodist College in Peoria, Illinois. I have authored the Deep Sky column in the Reflector magazine since 2010 and regularly contribute articles published in Astronomy Technology Today. Carol Lord. I am candidate for the president of the Astronomical League. I am thankful for the excellent service from John Goss, Bill Bogardus, and Ron Kramer, our past three presidents. My goal is to build on the solid foundation these three provided. I have served as vice president of the Astronomical League since November of 2018 after the untimely death of Bill Bogardus. Within the past year, our webmaster, Vern Rabin, retired, and we now have a new webmaster, John Martin, firmly in place. We're also lucky to have in place our new reflector editor, Christine Larson. So with all the changes that have occurred, we are very close to being back to normal operations. Thanks to all for your patience during these transitions. During my first tenure as league president from 2010 to 2014, we made communication both in person and electronically a priority, striving to make contact with our members across the country. I would like to extend this initiative particularly by scheduling electronic town halls and possibly establishing a YouTube channel. I'm a longtime member and former president of the Astronomical Society of Kansas City. I believe it is essential that we boldly pursue additional grant and sponsorship opportunities. These opportunities will allow us to provide new programs and services to our membership. The League has made positive strides with international astronomy groups. Besides adding astronomy societies as international members, I hope to pursue the ideas of co-hosting international Alcon conferences, possibly with the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. I would appreciate your support of my candidacy for president, Carol Ord. Okay, so to vote for president, there will be a poll in Zoom.
I actually have it as a president, vice president as 2 questions.
Oh, so I'll read.
So if you want to read the vice president,
I will.
And I didn't know what our bylaws were, so I included a write-in chat if they wanted.
Okay. Chuck Allen is currently the secretary of the Astronomical League and is a past league president and vice president. He is also a past Great Lakes chair and currently serves as regional treasurer. Chuck founded the league's 28-year-old National Young Astronomy Award in 1991, chairing the program for 7 years. He received the G.R. Wright Award for service in 1998, holds the league's Master Outreach Award with over 900 hours logged, and is a League Master Observer, earning his Master Silver Certificate in 2019. His imaging won top awards at Alcon, NAG, Apollo Rendezvous, and NAG competitions in the 1990s. Chuck is a past president of the Louisville Astronomical Society and current program director at the Evansville Astronomical Society. In 1992, he co-founded Stars at the Beach at Patoka Lake, Indiana, an event drawing hundreds of visitors for 29 summers. He also served as lead judge in Earth and Space Science for the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair and as a director of the Louisville Regional Science Fair. Chuck graduated from Duke University in 1970, served as a U.S. Air Force officer from 1970 to 74, and graduated from the University of Kentucky College of Law in 1977. He was a partner in Kentucky's largest law firm for 27 years. An amateur astronomer since age 7, Chuck began giving public programs at age 12. In 1965, he attended his first Alcon in Milwaukee, received the league's Advanced Junior Certificate, and became president of the Louisville Junior Astronomical Society. There are no other candidates for vice president. I'm going to turn the screen share off. And here is the voting.
Unfortunately, you can only vote 1 time, so if you're sharing a computer with somebody, you better agree on who you want to vote for.
Krista, I take it that as a co-presenter, I do not have the ability to vote.
Do you want to vote for someone, John? I would like to abstain, honestly.
Oh, now I can see it. Thank you.
I was gonna say I'll just unshare you.
I'm done.
There you go. Now you can vote all you want.
Thanks. I could see the results, but I couldn't participate.
Hey, same for me. I can't raise my hand. I can't vote, but that's okay.
Kelly, did I vote? I didn't let you vote. Oh no.
See?
You voted exactly how I was thinking, so it's fine. We're on the same wavelength.
Well, Nina and I have a fight going, so it's a good thing we have 2 computers.
Uh-oh.
Question about that though is, are there 2 memberships out of that household?
Nobody said anything about no memberships.
Oh,
We always vote separately in meetings.
I think the roster has 2 entries.
I don't really care. I'm just
I
making it.
I know.
Just
Just making trouble, Bill.
breaking the silence.
Jeez.
It's a serious moment.
I want 2 votes.
Get yourself another computer.
I just want a clone of Harlow Shapley. That's what I want.
So we had 34 people on. 35. How many votes do you got?
We got 28 out of 31, it looks like.
So we might have our guests who might.
So it's been 3 minutes.
Yep.
So we're going to end the poll. And I can share results if you would like.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Oh, I don't know. We should open it up and make everyone vote. Here's the results.
oh wow. No way.
Wait a minute. I'm not seeing anything.
What a riot.
Oh
You're
my.
now co-host, John. It says for our president, it's 14 votes to 14 votes.
That is amazing.
That is.
Do we have to relaunch and revote?
That's
Yeah, you
great.
could flip a coin.
Who hasn't voted?
Is it coin time?
Didn't they do that a few years ago for the president?
What's going on?
Sorry
here?
about that.
Are we voting? Do we just get one vote as a club, or is it, or both 14 votes go to both candidates?
That was what I was going to ask too.
We get
No,
one
it's
vote.
just
How do we
one vote for a club.
We get one vote
the
for a
huh?
club.
What a riot.
Oh, we're going to turn in a
So
tie.
we can relaunch it. We could do, I don't know what the bylaws have you do.
I think that
If those random 3 people, I guess I didn't vote, but
Well, there you go. Switch it to John, and then you can vote, Kristen. Break the tie.
I don't know if I can unhost myself though.
Oh.
That's okay.
Well, just
And
tell
it-
us who you
You
want,
don't have
Krista.
to unhost yourself.
yeah, you can just say it, and then that breaks it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Comes
really
down
fair.
to you.
Everybody knows who I vote
There
for.
we go. She votes.
Speaker of the
I'll
House.
tell you who I voted for.
Maybe you can send a private chat to John.
Send a private message
Yeah.
to John.
Okay.
Do it right.
We'll still know because it was a tie.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Yeah, right.
We're gonna know.
I am more fine with
Not like it's not going to be
what
obvious.
we've done in the past. Does anyone else
Just
have
to
a computer?
disclose,
Just remember, if you vote for the opposite candidate of the one I voted for, I'm going to come after you with a pitchfork.
That's what I figure, you know.
okay, just to
Is
disclose
that your
that
weapon of choice, Diana?
that Krista's opinions and voting do not reflect the views of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, its employees, or regents.
There
Nice
you go.
disclaimer,
Thank
John.
you for the disclaimer.
Does anyone know any of these people personally?
Yeah, I know Carol Orge.
A lot of us.
I do.
a lot
I
of us
know Carol as
We
well.
all know Carol. I've met Chuck Allen too, but he's the VP. I have not met the other presidential candidate.
I met Carol for the first time last year.
Carol came to our 50th anniversary dinner party.
And he keeps asking us if we're going to host Mizrael again.
That's not on the new
Does that
business.
mean you want me to vote for this person or not vote?
No, I think Carol's a great guy, but I'm not going to have you be influenced by that.
Influence.
Yeah.
I don't know the other gentleman, so I don't know.
Can we give them each half a vote?
Yeah, that'll
Still
that'll break the tie.
That won't
That'll
solve
break
the
the tie.
problem.
Don't cut the baby in half.
This thing doesn't have a virtual coin flip.
We could find one on the internet.
John, do you have a quarter?
Do I have a? I have a penny.
That'll do.
That works too.
So is a penny, is that legal? With pennies, you got to use a quarter?
It's a 91 penny.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure
a
there's an
state
app
that
for
did
that.
it to finalize a vote of somebody.
They've done it a
Julie said you
couple
can
of
do a coin
times.
toss on your phone.
Let me ask.
She voted.
What does the Astronomical League have to say about ties? Julie, they have some methodology
I
that
bet they don't.
if we come up with a tie, that they sort it out somehow.
Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. In the past, we usually just sort of said, everybody raise your hand for one person and other to vote.
I don't know that we've had a tie in the past.
Yeah.
Do we allow the Prairie
So-
Club to add to our votes?
You can count.
Well, they're voting via
They're-
the
yeah.
club. They have their own input on that.
You can count me or Krista for Carol.
Okay. Disclaimer: wife of president of OAS.
Oh. But I'm allowed to vote, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
I mean, Cleet and Nina both vote.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, can't Kelly go get on another computer and vote?
I only got 10 computers in the house. I mean,
So yeah, can't she just go to a different computer and vote?
We could even do that by just a voice vote.
It's Carol.
Then there you go.
Carol and Chuck.
Done and done.
Okay, we got that resolved?
One of the closest races possible.
At this point, I don't even remember
Don't
who I
worry.
voted for.
It's all recorded.
Yes.
Well, there's a video trail. Is there?
It was all legit.
So our next meeting is the 20. Oh, you could actually see that on the screen. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, good. Hang on.
I kind of said it to the top.
No, she sent it just to me, Kelly.
Look at lights.
So the next meeting is Friday, July 3rd. To file a motion, please unmute and state your names, or a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
Bill Bond, motion to adjourn.
Bill.
Lee Ricci, second it.
I think Cleet gotcha.
That was a near tie, but I think Cleet got you, yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
We better flip the penny.
So many ties tonight.
A motion has been made and second to adjourn the business meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Hey.
All those opposed? Yay! It's exactly 10 o'clock. Look at that.
Man, you were good, John.
Woo!
Curfew's in effect.
Yes. Well, that was great. Let me turn this off. How's our
They're still
skies
all-
outside? Has anybody looked?
Dark.
Dark right
All I
now.
see is black out my
There's the
window.
curfew. Oh, that's a curfew.
Oh, for crying out loud.
John, do you have your telescope set out in your driveway? Are you all
No,
set to video?
I didn't because I didn't think the moon was up high enough and in the clouds. But if you wanted to see my my ISS track from the other night, I could quickly throw
Ooh,
that up
let's,
there.
Let's see that.
It's caught up in clouds, that's for sure.
Okay, let's see. I can just do share screen. I got to bring it up first, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I just looked outside. It's mostly overcast and still humid as heck. So,
Okay, hang on. Let me get I had it here. Okay, there it is. Okay.
Krista, you're still recording. Should you be? You're muted. What do you think, Mr. Larson?
We can end the recording.
Yeah, I think
What?
the meeting is over.
We're all relaxing.
Mhm.
Okay. I got
I
the.
still got my ginger ale.